They say some places hold onto the echoes of the past. But what if those echoes scream? Tonight, we're unlocking the gates of an asylum so infamous. Its very name is whispered in fear. A place where the walls themselves seem to remember every tormented soul. Welcome, brave viewers. We are about to step into the decaying halls of Pennhurst State School and Hospital. A place that started as a beacon of hope, but devolved into a nightmare. Originally built to care for the mentally and physically disabled, Pennhurst became a symbol of neglect and cruelty. The stories that linger here aren't just ghost tales. They're the haunting legacy of real human suffering. Are you ready to hear what the shadows have to say? Our first story comes from a group of urban explorers who dared to spend a night in the Mayflower building, one of the most active locations on the grounds. As darkness fell, they began hearing faint whispers. At first, they dismissed it as the wind. But then, the whispers grew clearer, forming words, names of former patients listed in old records they had seen earlier. Suddenly, a child's laughter echoed from the end of a long, dark corridor. They froze, their flashlights cutting through the thick dust. There, at the very edge of the light's reach, they saw the small, fleeting shadow of a child dart behind the doorway. Terrified, they followed, only to find an empty room, colder than the rest, with a single, rusted tricycle in the center. They later learned that this area was known for sightings of a young, playful spirit, a child who never left the asylum's grounds. It was a chilling reminder that not all the spirits here are menacing. Some are just lost children, forever trapped in their lonely playground. Let's move deeper into the asylum's heart, to the notorious Philadelphia building. This was the ward for the most severely affected patients, and the energy here is heavy, oppressive. A paranormal investigation team set up their equipment in one of the patient rooms, hoping to capture evidence of the reported shadow people. For hours, there was nothing but silence. Then, their temperature gauge plummeted 20 degrees in a matter of seconds. An EVP recorder, which had been silent all night, suddenly shrieked with a burst of static. When they played it back, a guttural, angry voice was clearly heard saying, "Get out." As the voice played, a heavy metal door down the hall slammed shut with such force that the entire building seemed to shake. The investigators, seasoned professionals who had seen it all, packed their gear in a panic. They reported feeling an overwhelming sense of being watched by something malevolent, an unseen force that guards the secrets of the ward with a terrifying jealousy. They never returned. Perhaps the most unsettling tale from Pennhurst isn't about a single ghost, but a collective, sorrowful energy. It's the story of the underground tunnels. These dark, damp passageways connect the various buildings and were used to transport patients, supplies, and sadly, the deceased, away from the public eye. One night, a security guard was doing his rounds when he heard what sounded like a crowd of people shuffling, their feet in the tunnel beneath him. He cautiously descended the stairs into the pitch-black passage. The shuffling sound grew louder, accompanied by moans and soft crying. It sounded like dozens of people, all moving slowly, painfully. He shone his powerful flashlight down the length of the tunnel, but it was completely empty. The sounds, however, were all around him, echoing off the concrete walls. He felt a wave of profound sadness wash over him, an almost unbearable grief. It is believed that this is a residual haunting the spectral reenactment of countless patients being led through these tunnels, a final, somber procession that plays out for eternity. The guard quit the next day, unable to shake the feeling of the ghostly march, one of the most frequently reported phenomena. At Pennhurst is the disembodied voice of a woman who pleads for help. A documentary crew was filming in the administration building, a place less associated with patients suffering, but still steeped in the asylum's dark history. They were interviewing a former employee when their boom microphone picked up a faint voice that no one in the room had heard. On playback, the audio was crystal clear. A woman was whispering, "Help me, it hurts." They analyzed the frequency. It wasn't radio interference. It was a human voice, full of pain, that had materialized out of thin air. They searched the entire building, but it was deserted. The crew was left with a disturbing realization that they had captured the voice of a spirit, still suffering, still begging for a release that would never come. Who was she? A patient? A nurse? Her identity is lost to time, but her voice remains, a permanent, heartbreaking echo within the asylum's walls. Our next account takes us to the children's ward. While some report the playful spirit we mentioned earlier, others have encountered something far more sinister. A photographer, specializing in abandoned places, was capturing the haunting beauty of the decaying rooms. In one playroom, where rusted toys and broken cribs lay scattered, he felt a sudden, sharp scratch on his arm. He looked down to see three angry red welts, as if he'd been clawed. He had been alone in the room, wearing a thick jacket. As he backed away in shock, a small rubber ball, which had been sitting motionless in the corner, rolled across the floor and stopped directly at his feet. It wasn't a gentle roll. It was deliberate, almost defiant. Many believe a tormented, angry spirit, perhaps a nurse known for her cruelty, still patrols this ward, lashing out at anyone who intrudes upon her domain. The photographer left with a haunting photo collection and a physical scar to prove his encounter. Finally, we come to the story that perhaps best encapsulates the tragedy of Pennhurst. It's not a ghost story in the traditional sense, but a haunting of a different kind. A local historian was sifting through archives and found the diary of a nurse who worked there in the 1950s. Her early entries were filled with optimism, a genuine desire to help. But as the pages turned, her writing became frantic, desperate. She wrote about the overcrowding, the lack of funding, and the abuse she witnessed, but was powerless to stop. Her final entry wasn't dated. It just said, "I see their faces when I close my eyes. The ones we couldn't save. This place isn't a hospital. It's a tomb where the living are buried. And I think a part of my soul is being buried here with them." The historian said that reading the diary felt like listening to a ghost. The nurse's spirit may not walk the halls, but her despair, her pain, and her guilt are imprinted on the very fabric of Pennhurst, a testament to the living horrors that created the ghosts of today. These cursed stories are more than just campfire tales. They are the lingering voices of a dark chapter in our history. The chills we feel are not just from the supernatural, but from the horrifying reality of what happened within those walls. Which story from the asylum sends the most shivers down your spine? Let me know in the comments. If these chronicles of the unseen have captured your curiosity, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more journeys into the world's most haunted places. Thank you for watching, and whatever you do, don't look behind you.